check out the Logitech HD Pro Webcam C920, affiliate link below in the video description. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and you know, I do cover a lot on this channel about campus crazies, the totally moronic, insane identity politic bullshit happening around college campuses and universities, not only in this country, but around the world. But this one, oh my God, this one feels like probably one of the most sexist, and I'm just going to use the word misandrous things that could ever come out of Ivy League, especially when you know for a fact that the idea of a rape epidemic on college campuses is pretty much just hyperbolic nonsense used as a way to push a political narrative. But it says here that Princeton's new men's engagement manager is to combat aggressive masculinity on campus. Yes, because nowadays college campuses have well, for every for every one male student, there's two female students, but clearly aggressive masculinity is the problem, right? That's the thing. All right, going on to say here, are young men at Princeton University violent, aggressive, hyper-masculine stalkers or rapists? Well, if you ask any feminist, this would apply to any other college or university out there, and they would probably all answer in unison, yes, but no, that's not the case at all. A new position at the Ivy League institution indicates that campus officials apparently think enough of its male students grapple with such problems that it warrants hiring a certified clinician dedicated to combating them. I probably mispronounced that word, but that's perfectly fine. The university is in the process of hiring an interpersonal violence clinician and men's engagement manager who will work with the campus office called SHARE that's dedicated to survivors of sexual harassment, assault, dating violence, and stalking. Considering the fact that it can impact anybody, where's a resource out there for men who are assaulted by women? I mean, that's a valid question. It's not a men's rights activist question. No, that's a valid question. You want to talk about equality. Men are the minority on college campuses and university campuses across the country, and therefore they're still being targeted as being these hyper-masculine rapists. But what about those who have been assaulted by women on campus? It's just been a thing. Where's their help? Where's their help, Princeton? Why doesn't that exist? Because this kind of shit never ever actually does exist. Let's see. Now it goes on to say that according to SHARE, 1 in 4 female undergrads experienced such misconduct during the 2015-2016 school year. The men's manager will also launch initiatives to challenge gender stereotypes and expand the school's men's allied voices for a respectful and inclusive community, a self-described violence prevention program at Princeton that often bemoans toxic masculinity on its Facebook page. Except when you look at those who are against toxic masculinity, those very vocal and out there male feminist allies, how many of them have been busted for actual rape or murder or stalking or for gatekeeping or for sexual harassment? There's a lot. But clearly, anyone who's not on the pro-feminist agenda, they're the problem here. According to the job description, the men's manager will develop educational programs targeting the apparent high-risk campus-based populations for primary preventions of interpersonal violence, including sexual harassment, sexual assault, domestic dating violence, and stalking. Okay, well, again, is this just to teach men not to rape, or is this a resource for men who have been raped? Clearly, the latter is far more important than the former, which is one of the most asinine arguments ever. Every time I see one of those posters that says, teach men not to rape, it's like, yeah, also teach women not to rape. What you got? You got nothing. But again, it's that hysteria that's been created over the course of the past couple of years from, well, let's face it, the Obama administration forcing Title IX on these universities, telling them that if they don't start enforcing them to like the nth degree, they lose federal funding. And it's an unfortunate thing. It's a highly unfortunate thing that sexual assault has been relegated to such arguments. It really is. It's really shitty to have to always have the argument of, wait a minute here, hold on, it's not what you're saying that it is. These statistics are heavily flawed. The data they pull from is not about whether or not somebody was actually sexually assaulted, but whether or not they feel they might have been or they could be in a position to be. It's not hard-lined data, but that is what's used to create this false narrative and why Princeton is trying to hire a men's manager. It is it's insulting is what it is. It's insulting that people don't ever want to actually go back to the root of the data to look at where it came from. They just want to take it and run with it. Now, don't get me wrong. There are multiple things that happen with this all the time. I myself have been guilty of that as well. But when information comes out that contradicts that you have to be willing to come out and say, I fucked up, this is not the way that it is. But because of the Title IX restrictions, or I guess you say the forcing of that on the college campuses, they don't ever want to admit they made a mistake. So instead of admitting they made a mistake and readmitting the student that has been, basically falsely punished in some of these cases, or incorrectly punished, they just choose to ignore it and move on with their day, and they let the lawsuit from that student come in, and then they just pay it off or whatever, because that's easier for them than admitting that they were wrong. Because at the end of the day, this all boils down to money, and there's probably more money that they'll get from the government versus from that student's tuition. So there's that as well. But hey, listen, as it's been going, every time we see a lot of these protests on college campuses, student enrollment is down the next year. So there's something like to consider with that as well. Okay, so the job posting implicitly refers to men as perpetrators and women as victims. Of course they do. Of course they do. There's no other way to look at that right now. Equality be damned. It's clearly men. Men are the predators. They are the persons causing the problem. And women, they're just delicate flowers that can never hurt a soul. Never hurt a soul ever. That's fucking horseshit. The position may also implement a mandatory accountability program for students accused of sexual misconduct under Title IX. Exactly. Again, it's that students accused. If you are accused under Title IX on college, you're not accused. You're found guilty. You're not given the opportunity to question the accuser. You're not given the opportunity to face that person in court. You're not given the opportunity to defend yourself. You're told not to talk to potential witnesses that could corroborate your story. You are told to be silent and to literally take it up the ass while the school gets its fucking federal funding. That's what happens under Title IX, and one of the reasons why it's absolute horseshit that it's being used as a weapon against male students. And it's sad. It's so fucking sad. Princeton University's communication office defended the position in an emailed statement last week, saying the school confirmed it's still working to select a person to fill the position, which it advertised in late May. Surprising. A position like this, which is designed to further chastise and degrade men, hasn't been filled already. You figure some crazy feminist would have been out there already doing this, or some male feminist ally that's going to use it as a position of power would have already applied en masse in order to jump in to take this role over. Glad to see that it's still vacant. Glad to see that at this point in time, male students on Princeton aren't well, it's summertime, so they're currently not in, but hey, they're still safe. They go on to say here, Princeton's program is similar to programs at other colleges and universities and is consistent with established best practices that encourage both men and women to create and foster a culture in which there is no place for interpersonal violence, where safe and healthy interpersonal relationships are the norm. Yes, but that again is a two-way fucking street. It's a two-way fucking street. There is literally no way that you can sit there and say that all men are perpetrators and all women are victims and still be talking about equality. I mean, there was a case not too long ago of a passed out drunk dude in his girlfriend's dorm whose roommate pulled down his pants, sucked him off, and then fucked some other dude, and then said that first guy who was drunk, passed out, couldn't consent, and was raped, essentially raped her. And he was booted off a college campus, even though he's able to prove that what she claimed didn't happen, or what she says happened didn't happen. He still isn't allowed to come back on campus at all. But equality, right? I kind of want higher education at this point to just kind of implode, because fuck this shit. It's so ridiculous now. Like, pisses me off. Like, I mean, I'm having a daughter. I'm not having a son. Part of me wanted a son to talk about these issues with and everything, but I'm going to talk to my daughter about respect, about getting respect and giving respect and being careful and all that shit, because that is how you raise a fully functional person in the society, is to teach them that equality means equality, that equality means, being responsible for your actions and being held responsible for your actions, and that the other person be also held responsible for their actions, and that you just oh god, it just pisses me off so fucking much. Founded in 2013, the Men's Allied Voices for a Respectful and Inclusive Community program, which I'm really surprised that the acronym here isn't just CUCK, seeks to promote healthy masculinity. Sorry, that was a bad joke, but still. Seeks to promote healthy masculinity through workshops and other educational programming on campus. The program also fights toxic masculinity, according to numerous Facebook posts, and subscribes to the feminist theory of fragile masculinity, which denigrates men for subscribing to traditional gender norms. So yes, this is social justice bullshit 101, and they wonder why a position like this has been created. It's been created because the university has basically been allowed to foster that kind of environment, the environment that basically blames all men for everything without even remotely considering that the fairer sex, so to speak, can be just as predatory. And when there's more of them on college campus, it's basically kind of like jeez, it just fuck me. All right, so the successful candidate will also recruit and train students to serve as role models for men-identified students related to the development of healthy relationships and healthy masculinity. So therefore, people who I want to say, there's jokes in there that say like, oh, beta male cucks, but it's almost like that's kind of the reality of it. You know, like that's kind of what they're looking to hire, and that's sad. That's not going to be as a role model. That's going to be an apostate. The successful candidate must have a master's or doctorate in a field related to social work or women's studies. So basically troll any help wanted board for those who have graduated in those degrees. Also probably human resources. The College Fix was unable to identify a corresponding clinician targeted towards women. The position you reference seeks to strengthen Princeton's efforts to prevent violence among all campus populations, with the focus on how we can best engage men as agents of positive change. This is from the Princeton Communications Office. The person hired for this position will support an existing initiative, the Men's Allied Voices for a Respectful and Inclusive Community, and will provide mentoring and guidance to help men serve as effective advocates for the prevention of violence and connect those affected by violence with the services and support they need. I highly doubt that last bit's true. I highly doubt that last bit's true at all. We have seen an increased demand by men on our campus to play a more active role in preventing interpersonal violence. We are pleased to support this growing interest. Yeah, you've seen an increased request from men on campus to be looked at as equals, and especially when it comes to ideas of interpersonal violence or sexual assault or domestic abuse, and instead of actually advocating for them on behalf of these problems and trying to get to the root of these problems and basically teach everyone not to rape or everyone not to be a cunt, you instead target them by hiring a men's engagement manager that is set to vilify, demonize, and basically just ostracize them if they express any kind of masculine traits that are deemed inappropriate or wrong. That's pretty much what's happening here. We've seen this kind of shit, you know, on Harvard and other fucking Ivy League schools, and it just keeps permeating itself out there. One of the reasons, like I said, one of the big reasons for this is because men are not, like, there's not an equal footing. There's not 50-50 on college campuses. It's like 60-30 or 66-33. And this is what comes off of this. It's that constant we're the victim mentality. We need to find a person to blame as the fucking attacker. So, hey, let's point to the minority gender on college campus and make them, the ones that are out there hunting all the time. It's nonsense. It's horseshit. It's offensive, and it's not going to stop for a while. And I really do hope more people talk about this kind of crap, because I wouldn't recommend, if you are a male going into college, to go at all to any of these schools, period. I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend wholly to go into a trade, because that's where you're probably going to find the most, I don't know, you're going to probably find the most equality there. Well, guys, that wraps up this video. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to toss it a thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe. Also, hit that bell so you guys can be up to date on all the videos I post every single day on this platform. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been the Mundane Matt channel. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.